Shalom. This is Brother Lawyer from GMS Miami, giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Shai, double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to all the Akim out there pushing the word of Yahweh by Shem Shai in truth and sincerity. Today, what I'm going to go into a lesson to, what I'm going into for this sit down is the bottomless pit. Okay, and what I will endeavor to do in this lesson is to prove through the scriptures that the bottomless pit that's mentioned in Revelations multiple times is Europe, going precept upon precept, and just proving it that way. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to start at Revelation 17. I think it's the best place to start at this point. So Revelation 17:1, it says, "And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore which sitteth, or that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet covered beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. This woman here mentioned in Revelation 17:1-5 is America. Okay, but that's not exactly the topic I'm going to get into today. I've done a lesson on it previously called America is Babylon, the wine of the wrath of fornication, on GMS Join Unto Me on my channel. But that's not what this lesson is about today. If you want to, watch that lesson, I may put it in the comment board down below at the end of this video. So continuing, Revelation 17:5, it says, "And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahweh Shai. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and the beast, and of the beast that carrieth her, and hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is." Okay, so the reason why I brought out these last 2 precepts, Revelation 17:8, is because these 2 precepts will be integral in proving that the bottomless pit is Europe. Okay, this beast is NATO. All right, so if we can prove that through the scriptures that this beast is NATO, then we can also identify by process of elimination that the bottomless pit which this beast originated from is Europe. Okay, this beast in Revelation is described as was and is not and yet is. The reason being is because originally this beast was exercising power as the Roman Empire, but eventually it fell. And during John's time, it is, or yet is. But now this beast is being manifest as NATO, inheriting or re-exercising the same power that the Roman Empire had in its day. All right, so to prove that, we're gonna have to start at Revelations 13:1, and it says in verse 1 of Revelations 13, it says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the names of blasphemy." Now, what you want to notice here is that the same description, okay, the same imagery that's being used in Revelation 17, okay, as far as the heads and the horns and the names of blasphemy for the beast that this woman is riding upon, is the same imagery and symbology that's being used in Revelations 13:1 for this beast. Okay, so that would stand. It would stand to reason based off of the formula that the Most High gave us in the scriptures in Isaiah 28. It says precept must be upon precept, line upon line. Okay, and that's how you're going to understand doctrine and know knowledge. Okay, so it would stand to reason by that formula that the Most High gave us and by Isaiah that these two beasts are the same beast, that these two entities or these two things that are being described, these two images are supposed to represent the same thing. Okay, now to prove that this is the beast, this beast is NATO, we'll have to continue reading. In verse 2 it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and seat and great authority. Okay, so it says that this beast was like unto a leopard. Now here at Great Millstone we teach that this beast is NATO, and the leopard is supposed to represent the beginning of Esau's rulership as an empire or as a power on the earth. Okay, this leopard being the Greek Empire. All right, and to do that we'll have to go to Daniel 7 and 6. Actually, I'll start above just for background's sake. This is Daniel 7 and 2. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my night vision, or in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. Okay, jumping down to verse 6, just to go into the beast, because what Daniel saw was four beasts which were supposed to represent four empires upon the earth. Okay, four kingdoms. All right, so this third beast that Daniel saw in Daniel 7 and 6, it says, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl, and the beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it. Right, so this beast is this leopard, I should say, is the Greek Empire. Okay, and the four wings of a fowl and the four heads. The four wings of the fowl are supposed to represents the extent of the Greek rulership. Okay, they when Alexander the Great came into power, he basically conquered the Medo-Persian Empire. So of course he had to go east. Okay, towards the east. He went towards the north, conquered. He went towards the south, and he went towards the west, which would have been Macedonia and Greece, Syria. The east being the Medo-Persian Empire, the south being northern Africa and Palestine. And the beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it. This information is found in the book of Maccabees, chapter 1. The four heads being Alexander's four generals: Ptolemy, Seleucus, Lysimachus, and Cassander. Okay, these four heads are four authorities, because that's normally what heads represent in the scriptures, or even here in modern day, a head of something is someone who has authority, power. Okay, a general, a head of an army. These four heads represent those four generals that Alexander the Great was raised from youth with. Okay, who grew up with him, and dominion was given to it. Okay, so that's what this leopard is supposed to represent: the beginning of Esau's rulership, or his authority upon the planet Earth. Okay. Now, going back to verse 2, it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. Okay, stop right there. The feet normally represent the end of something. You have the head, which is the beginning, the top of your body, and the feet, when you lay down, is the end of your body. Okay, so it says the feet of this beast was as unto a bear. All right, so the feet are supposed to represent the end, or represent the end of the rulership, or the authority, or the bringing of an end of this beast. Okay, and these feet are being described as a bear. Okay, and that bear is supposed to represent the Russian. Okay, the Russians. All right, they're the nation upon the planet Earth that really poses a threat to NATO's rulership. Okay, upon the planet Earth. Russia has the military might, the Allies, okay, to put an end to NATO's beast-like rulership upon the planet Earth and their military might. All right, and some people will ask, well, the Bible doesn't say that the bear is NATO, but what we have to understand, being spiritual men, is that first of all, the Book of Revelation is a book of last day prophecies. Okay, and these prophecies are supposed to give us an idea or foretell to us, the believers, things that will come shortly or happen shortly before the return of Yahushua HaMashiach, okay, and his kingdom upon the planet Earth. So we have to ask a question: in these last days, which nation, okay, is represented as a bear? Okay, it has the symbol of a bear, and that nation is Russia by far. Okay, in the media you hear poking the bear, NATO's poking the bear, America's poking the bear. Okay, the bear, the waking bear, don't wake the bear. Okay, that's all through the spirit of the Most High and his Son. Okay, the Most High has a very theatrical way of doing things. All right. So going back to verse 2, and it says, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. Okay, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So let's focus on the lion. Okay, which nation in NATO, which we haven't proven that this beast is NATO yet, but right now I'm speaking to the brothers who know. Okay, which nation in NATO, all right, is represented as a lion, and of course that's London. Okay, London. I typed this on Google and I found so many statues. Okay, London lion statue of lions. Okay, so many statues of lions represented in London. Okay, and that goes back, of course, to when our people ruled in Europe. Okay, ruled in the United Kingdom, ruled in London. The symbol of our people, the Israelites, the Judites, is a lion. All right, then look at all these statues, man. Beautiful statues of a lion. Okay, and this lion is supposed to represent London. Okay, that's their international symbol. That's the symbol of their royal house and their royal court. Okay, now moving on, it says, and the dragon gave him his power and seat and great authority. Okay, so how the way we're gonna prove Salakia, the way we're gonna prove that this beast is NATO, and thereby identify the bottomless pit as Europe, because of course NATO is a coalition made up of European nations. The way we're going to do this is by identifying who this dragon is, because in Revelations 13:2 it says the dragon gave this beast who John saw come out of the sea having 10 heads, 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, it's and names of blasphemy. This dragon gave its power and its seat and great authority to this beast. So this beast has inherited and is exercising the same power and authority and might as the Roman Empire did in its day. Okay, so if we, or this dragon did, okay, and this dragon is the Roman Empire. So what we're gonna have to do is identify this dragon as the Roman Empire. And just for visuals here, for more detail on the imagery of this beast that John is seeing in Revelations, here you have it, the woman, which is America, and the 7 heads of this beast being Greece, the Greeks, the British, Germania Major, the Spanish, the French, the Romans, and Germania Minor, and the 10 horns being Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, Ireland, if I'm correct, if I'm reading that right, and West Germany. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do is identify this dragon who gave this beast its power, a seat, and great authority as the Roman Empire. Okay, and what we're gonna do in order to do that, first thing we're gonna have to do is go to Revelations 12. Okay, one of the main prophecies in Revelations that describes the dragon, okay, and its power and what it's done. Okay, so Revelations 12:1, it says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Okay, now this woman is talking about the nation of Israel. Okay, Jeremiah 6 and 2, it says, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a company, or to a comely and delicate woman. Okay, and it says that this woman is described as having or being clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and her head a crown of 12 stars. Okay, these 12 stars are supposed to represent the 12 tribes of Israel, and the sun and the moon are supposed to represent Isaac, and if I'm correct, one of his wives, if I'm correct, Rachel. And to prove that, I'll go and start at Genesis 37 and 5. It says, Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. Okay, and it says in verse 6, and it says, and he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding staves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright, and behold, your steves stood round about, and made obeisance to my steef. And his brethren said unto him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us, or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, to the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying. Okay, so here in Genesis 37, Joseph has a dream, and in this dream, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars represent Joseph's father and his mother, and the other 11 patriarchs of the nation of Israel. And that's how we come to understand in Revelations 12 and 1 that this woman that's being described as the nation of Israel. Okay, Salakia, if I'm correct, I may have made a mistake. The sun and the moon, if I'm correct, represents wisdom. If I'm correct, if my memory serves me right, I might have got that mistaken with Genesis 37 and verse 9. Okay, so excuse me if I made a mistake there. So Revelations 12 and 2, it says, And she being with child cried and travailed in birth and pain to be delivered. Okay, and it says, And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and seven crowns upon his head. This is the same dragon that's being described in Revelations 13 as giving its power, or having its power inherited by this new beast. Okay, all right, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born. Okay, so this history, this imagery here goes into the history of Yahushai's birth. Okay, Yahushai's birth in Judea and in Israel. But to prove first, before we even get into that, to prove that this red dragon, okay, is the Roman Empire, we'll go back to Daniel 7. Okay, and we'll start at verse 7. All right, because the same imagery that's being used for this dragon is the same imagery that's being used in Daniel 7 for a specific empire. All right, Daniel 7 and 7, it says, After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Okay, so this beast here is describing the Roman Empire. All right, when you read Daniel chapter 7 is imagery that is basically a vision. Okay, and the things that Daniel are seeing in this vision are supposed to describe or represent 4 empires, 4 kingdoms that will rise upon the earth after Daniel's time, or during well, during, considering that Daniel lived during the time of one of these beasts, which is the Babylonians. Okay, and to prove that, I'll have to jump down to prove that these four beasts are supposed to represent kingdoms. All right, I'm gonna have to jump down. And I'll start at verse 15. I'm gonna have to jump down to Daniel 7 and 15. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. And I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. And he told me, and made me to know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall rise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. All right. So Daniel 7 and 17, it says that these great beasts, which are four kings. Now, when you actually go into the blue letter, I wish I could pull it up right now, but I'm having internet issues. When you actually go to the blue letter, these where the word four kings is used, when you go down into the lexicon, the word for kings is kingdoms. All right. So these great beasts, which are four, are supposed to represent four kingdoms that shall rise out of the earth. And when you read Daniel 7, you see that these beasts come successively one after another. So, of course, by process of elimination, the Babylonians came into power. They took down and absorbed the Assyrians' empire. Okay. Then after the Babylonians, all right, came the Medo-Persians, all right, and the Medo-Persian Empire came and took down the Babylonians and absorbed the Babylonians Empire. They took down the Babylonians, the Egyptians, and the Lydians. That's the second beast, the bear, which had the three ribs in its mouth. Those three ribs represent the Babylonians, the Lydians, and the Egyptians. Then after the bear was this great leopard, which is the Greek Empire. Alexander the Great, his four generals, they defeated Darius III, king of the Medo-Persian Empire, thrice in battle, okay, and defeated the Medo-Persians and conquered what we know today as Northern Africa, the Middle East, Mesopotamia, all the way into the Indus Valley, Greece, Macedonia, Thrace, Turkey, and Syria. Okay, and the fourth beast that took down the Greek Empire was the Romans. Okay, the Romans came into power, took down the Greeks, and absorbed the Greek Empire into their empire, and that's why the Roman Empire sometimes is referred to as the Greco-Roman Empire. Okay, so going back to Revelations 12. It says in Revelations 12 and 4, it says, and the tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, okay, and did cast them to the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born. Okay, the third part of the stars are supposed to represent a Salakia. This third part of the stars represents Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay, 3 of the stars of the 12. That of the 12 stars of the nation of Israel, okay, because those were the people that were living in the land when this dragon, the Roman Empire, was persecuting them, okay, and that persecution goes into the timeline of Yahushai's birth, okay, and to go into that, just to prove the point that the dragon is the Roman Empire, I'll start at Matthew 2 and 1. It says, now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Yahushua HaMashiach should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea. For thus it is written by the prophet, and thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall reign, or that shall rule my people Israel. Okay, so this is going into the timeline of Yahushai's birth. Herod heard by the wise men that Yahushua was born, and he was supposed to rule over Israel. He was supposed to be the king of the Jews. Now Herod, being the paranoid Edomite that he was, he was troubled by this. So he sent these wise men and asked the prophets and the scribes, where is this Yahushua? Where's this king of the Jews supposed to be born? Because he's thinking that if this person is the person that the prophets say he is, then he can take me out of power. Okay, because I'm not a real Jew and I'm not supposed to be reigning over these people. I was just put in this place, rulership over the Jews by the Romans. Okay, which is integral into understanding that this dragon is Rome. We already proved it with Daniel 7, but we just prove it a little bit further that this dragon is Rome. And to help further edify the point that the bottomless pit is Europe, we're going into this history. All right, so Matthew 2:7, it says, Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared, and he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when we have found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him also. He was lying. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. And when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return unto Herod, they departed into their own country another way. Okay, and the reason why they departed, and the reason why the Most High warned them, is because Herod was trying to seek to kill Yahushua. Okay, and mind you, Salakia, Herod was a king of Idumean descent. Okay, the son of Antipater the Idumean, that was placed as king over the Judeans, okay, the Jews of southern Palestine, by the Roman Senate. So Herod's rule over the Israelites of Judea, all right, was in fact, okay, an extension of Rome's rule over our people and over the known world, okay, at the time, what was known as the known world, the East. Okay, so that's integral to understanding who this dragon is in Revelation 7, okay, because the dragon persecuted the woman. Verse 13, it says, And when they are departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose and took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son. Okay, then Herod, all right, when Herod was alive, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, and was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. And this is why Herod was troubled. Okay, he was troubled because he knew that he wasn't the real king, okay, and that Yahushua being born could usurp his power, okay, as an actual descendant of the house of David, which Herod proclaimed and his family proclaimed to be. All right, and that's why he slew the children, okay, to get rid of all the competition. All right, and that goes in line with what's written in Revelations 12:4. Okay. So again, it says, Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and in all the coast thereof, from the 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, "In Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted because they are not." Okay, so that was basically what was going on in Revelations 12 and 3 and 12, the second verse through the fourth verse, where this woman cried and travailed to be delivered of her child, and the dragon stood to devour or to kill the child that was to be born, and that child was Yahushai. Okay, and the reason why we know that is because Herod, being an extension of Rome's rule, Rome being the dragon, tried to kill Yahushai when Yahushua was born, okay, and persecuted all the women who had children, 2 years old, male child and under. All right, so those two scriptures and those two accounts in the scriptures, Revelations 12, 1 through 4, and Matthew chapter 2, 1 through 16, 17, 18, if I'm correct. Yeah, 16, 17, 18. Those two scriptures going hand in hand. All right, and she brought forth a man child, Revelations 12 and 5, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. Okay, and that child is Yahushai. He's the one who will rule the nations with a rod of iron. Okay, like it's written in Psalms chapter 2, and again in Daniel 7, it says that the Son of Man came to the Ancient of Days, and he was given power and dominion and authority and glory and blessing, etc., that all dominions should serve him. Okay, so now that we've done proved that the dragon, okay, is the Roman Empire, we're going to go back to Revelations 13 and 2. Well, 13 and 1. Actually, you know what? 13 and 2, it says, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of the bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him power, and his seat and authority, and great authority." So we can replace that word dragon with the Roman Empire. All right, and if we do that, because we've proved that the Roman Empire is the dragon, now we got to ask a question. Okay, which coalition? Okay, which group of nations? All right, on the planet Earth exercise the same military might and power and political authority as the Roman Empire did in its day? And in these last days, mind you, this is the book of Revelations, and the answer that we come to is NATO. Okay, NATO is the one that's doing that. All right, by far. Okay, I'll keep reading. Okay, just to get into the point a little bit more. And it says in Revelations 3, "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast." Okay, that's going into how the Roman Empire fell and came back. You know, of course, Septimius Severus, he took down the Romans. He ruled over the Roman Empire, and then eventually that manifested as Constantine ruling. Okay, and the Roman Empire fell. Europe entered into the Dark Ages, but then during the Renaissance, the rebirth, there was a re-exploring and reintroduction of those old Greek and Roman ways, okay, and Greek and Roman art and literature, and that's how the deadly wound of Rome was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him?" All right, so verse 4 says, "Who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him?" Now that I find interesting, because NATO, if one of the nations of NATO that's part of NATO go into war, okay, all of the nations have to go to war. If one of the nations get attacked or invaded, all the nations have to fight. Okay, all of them have to join together, okay, as a united force and fight against the enemy. Okay, and that's why verse 4 says, "Who is able to make war with the beast?" Because NATO is made up of some of the greatest armies and military might that this planet has ever seen. Okay, the French, the British, okay, the Germans, all right, America, okay. That's why it says, "Who is able to make war with him?" Because NATO is so powerful that when it comes to military might, that there aren't many nations that have the power to rise up against it. But now in this time, you have that the world's so tired of it that, you know, of course, Russia and Russia's allies and China and various other nations are trying to come up with economic how would I say, pacts and treaties and coalitions and stuff like that to fight against NATO. Okay, military, whether it be military, economic, political, trade, and things of that nature. Okay, so now that we've proved through process of elimination that the dragon is Rome. Okay, and this dragon has had its power inherited by a new beast, which is NATO. All right. Then we'll have to go to Revelation 7 and verse 8, okay, and ask the question, all right, out of which region of the world did the Roman Empire and NATO originate from? Okay, because this beast in Revelation 17 and 8 is the same beast, okay, in Revelation 13, the 13th chapter, from verse 1 through 5. All right, and this beast is being described as having originated out of this bottomless pit. All right, so if this beast is NATO, then of course through process of elimination, all right, that this bottomless pit would have to be Europe, and that fits perfectly in line with other scriptures in the book of Revelations, such as Revelations 20, where it goes into the Dark Ages. All right, and Revelations 9, where it goes into World War I and Kaiser Wilhelm II, the German Empire. Okay, that fits this would fit perfectly into the idea of those chapters talking about those specific things, considering that this bottomless pit is Europe. Okay, so that's pretty much the lesson. I hope it was edifying. I hope it all made sense. I hope I connected everything properly, and that brothers were edified. And if anybody were to come up with that question and ask, you would be able to go through the scriptures, even though it would be quite meticulous task to do, and prove that the bottomless pit is Europe. Okay, so without further ado, I want to give all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to all the Akim out there pushing the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai in truth and sincerity. I hope this video was edifying to the brothers. Shalom.